Are WWE fans sabotaging NXT prospects? We'll get into this. Plus, an unusual AEW Dynamite special has been announced, and Mustafa Ali opens up on the failure of Retribution. It's in the wrestling news right now. The question was asked on Reddit the other day why the Capital Wrestling Center NXT fans don't like MSK, like solid tag team wrestlers, a lot of pace to them, grafters, but they're always booed. There was a reply that got a lot of attention on Reddit to this story.
And if this is true, I don't even know.
So we're going to read what the story says. We're going to read what the reply says. One of the guys in MSK, in a Twitter post, said he didn't agree with Izzy, the Bailey girl, training to wrestle at 13. Her parents blew it up into some negative thing against the guy. So when NXT signed them, the parents decided to try and torpedo his/their career and got 20 or so NXT diehards to go along with them. And that might be, if this is to be believed, part of the reason why we've got this weird fan reaction towards what should ostensibly be a very popular tag team.
It's very conspiracy-ish, but just to kind of, just to go along with it, just to
You're pulling the thread.
Just to pull the thread a bit. If this is true, it's a bit ridiculous. Every single person I know who started wrestling training at like the age of 13 regrets it. Like they are knackered. They've destroyed either their knee or they've got back problems or their bones weren't fully developed and they're taking bumps and it's sort of messed them up a bit. And it's like if I could have just started a couple of years later or a few years later, I would have been better off. So that was kind of, if that was I don't think she should be training at 13. It could have been from that kind of place. But at the same time, if you're going along and you're taking people to actively boo somebody for voicing that opinion, that's its own entire level of anything. But then on top of that, if people think WWE are actually going to listen to booing fans, have you been watching the past 15 years of product?
They're probably classed as top baby faces on NXT.
Yeah,
now.
So it's one of these things where I guess, if it is all about, well, I don't think she should be training at 13 and who are you to say that, then it's just opinion versus opinion, isn't it? Really, it's going to be constant shouting at each side. And
I would hope that the powers of that NXT crowd, like the Full Sail years of the NXT crowd, were phenomenal because they were able to get over talent in such a way that they would seem undeniable as main roster call-ups.
The problem with die-hard audiences is
they die hard.
Having studied fandom and stuff, the problem with die-hard audiences, they often eventually, after a sort of change, will then feel some degree of ownership. And so it's like, well, of course I get to do that, and I get to do this, and I get to do this, and you don't. So then you've also got these sort of spheres of thought coming into play.
You've got bubbles within bubbles of fandom and stuff, and I kind of get that. I do. We'll monitor this. We'll see what comes of this. As you say, could be a little bit tinfoil hat. Could be a little bit that. But I really like MSK. I'm just putting that out there. Heading to AEW Dynamite, they've got another weird one this coming Saturday. It's another Saturday Night Dynamite.
Yes.
And Tony Khan, Busted Open Radio, said it's going to be an AEW/college football show. It'll be a preview show. We'll do some kind of countdown to the live Dynamite on Saturday. We'll have an AEW college football theme.
Nice. They're gonna, I don't know, the
jerseys?
The ring will be AstroTurf.
It's a shame because that idea.
Masuna will play throughout the entire event.
Jim Ross just keeps walking out.
It's just
Is it my time? Yeah.
Every fight song on a loop.
They're just trying something different this weekend, says Tony. I mean, I must admit, it's lost on me, that college football thing, but I know you're a fan. You were at the game in London.
Yeah, I like
the old Dolphins versus the Studebakers.
It's a very, very big deal. Like, college sports in particular are huge in America, so if it's this kind of tie-in, then it's going to be, it's sort of, I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer, but it's definitely going to have crossover appeal if it's that kind of thing. I mean, but it depends how deep it goes, Are all the wrestlers going to wear helmets? I don't think it'll be very much that. We'll see some, if it's going to be a football crossover, we might see some football stars we might see some, just interaction on that front. But
maybe it's North Wrestling this Saturday in Newcastle at Anarchy Brewery. I might suggest a football UK soccer themed pre-show.
You need yellow and red cards.
There you go. That'd be great. And at least one wrestler to dress like Mike Ashley to take a stunner. That's how it goes.
And then just get pulled apart limb by the audience.
What a dream. That's why I love North Wrestling.
Guy just behind the curtain dressed as Boris, just
regretting signing that deal. Hey, Sasha Banks in The Mandalorian, she was a bit good. Is she coming back?
Unfortunately not. So she said, I'm not on the next season. Talking to Graham Matthews of Bleacher Report, of course, she said, I'm not on the next season, but it was incredible being on The Mandalorian, on Star Wars, to be on a franchise that's so huge and so loved. Just look at the reception from fans outside the WWE universe. It was the best feeling of all time. The projection of that show was overwhelming. I legit feel like I was in a galaxy so far, far away. I felt like I was on a different planet, and oh my God, the way they shot that show is incredible.
It's beautiful.
It's just that set with the throne projection. Oh my God. If you haven't seen the making of The Mandalorian, just Google image it and just have a look at the sets, because it legitimately looks amazing. But it's no surprise, but at the same time, I don't think it's the last role we're going to see from Sasha Banks. I think she's somebody who's now going to develop more and more crossover appeal and will likely appear in more and more TV projects until eventually she's just like The Rock and WWE will be pretty much begging for her to come back. But I don't know, I think Mandalorian is a very good show to start with. If she wants a career in that field, I think you could have been in a lot worse position than working with Jon Favreau and being on a Disney Plus Star Wars series in a featured role.
And if you're into the wrestling industry, working alongside Vince McMahon's not a bad position to be in. Yeah. That's how Vince Russo found himself for many years. Bro.
Bro.
He put something very enigmatic that I guess was designed to hook us. So consider us reeled, Russo. Well done. He put on Twitter, after knowing Vince McMahon for 30 years and having great success with him during my time at WWE, yesterday he and I had our final exchange. It's an unfortunate story and sad in many ways. Closure is good though. Not ready to discuss it now, but I will be. Where? Channelattitude.com. We'll give you a shout. Russo and Vince had a little thing.
Russo and Vince having a final exchange is very interesting. And I know Russo is a very contentious figure in the world of wrestling, but if you've ever listened to any of his podcast appearances, particularly he did one I listened to a while back, I think with Sean Oliver on his Kayfabe podcast. But he kind of just talks to people out of character and about like business decisions they made from a wide range of industries, not just wrestling. But Russo talks about Vince apparently once just sort of threw in his face, well, you can afford a nanny, like when he was complaining about not being there for his kids. And he was like, well, you can afford a nanny, what are you worrying about? And that was the moment where he was like, well, I'm out. So I wonder why they would have talked again after all this time, but it's going to be interesting to see.
There's also an amazing podcast now that features Vince Russo and R.D. Reynolds from WrestleCrap watching every episode of the Adam West Batman show.
Oh, nice.
Not even wrestling. They're just watching episode by episode the Batman, the old Adam West Batman. It's great. It's great. Just when it's not about wrestling.
Bro, when he's got his bat spray.
The swerve was it had Robin spray in it. Well done. More Vince McMahon.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. We should have done that with Hogan. And they're just like rappelling down a building.
I showed Alex the Batman movie from the 60s. Yeah. And that initial scene with Batman on the ladder on the helicopter and the shark biting him. I'm dying laughing. It's the greatest. And Alex is like, do we have to watch this?
Yes.
Shocking behaviour. Yes, you do. Stay there and watch it with me. Final more Vince McMahon stuff, including some conversations he had with Mustafa Ali. So Ali, in an interview with Metro, talked about Retribution and sort of what went wrong there. But he talked a little bit about sort of finding his feet as a heel before that. He says, even pre-pandemic, I was struggling to maintain television presence. And I know it was all character-based. When you pitch 1,000,001 ideas as far as stories and characters and promos, this and that, and you always get told you're good, and then nothing happens, you start pointing the finger at everybody except you. I went up to Vince McMahon himself and I said, what am I missing? And Vince McMahon said, too polished, too clean, too nice. I don't know if you have it in you. Ooh. Ali's transformation into a heel sort of began from there. He was doing more heelish stuff on main event, trying to change up his style. He was doing promos in front of Vince McMahon, who was like, and apparently, I feel like this was more Vince McMahon lighting a fire under Ali.
Yeah.
Because Vince McMahon had the idea to make Ali the leader of Retribution. So when it all launched, he was like, okay, you're ready, pal, off we go. And then Retribution happened.
I was about to say, well, you wouldn't be on the books if they didn't know what to do with you, but then I had to stop myself saying that, obviously.
It's not wished for anybody, not on the books. So Retribution happened, and it was still on the books, though, most of them. On the failure of Retribution, what did he have to say?
He said, I did the best that I could with what I was given. There was a lot of amazing talent in that faction. Top to bottom of the roster, whether it's the main event or the opening act, everyone is capable of so much more. That's why they're in WWE. They are capable. But sometimes things take priority and we have to do the bare minimum sometimes. But even with that, the bare minimum, you're expected to over-deliver on that. So we did the best we could with what we were given.
So what a faction that genuinely needed like a lot of TV time to get the characters over and like some more overarching stuff.
And he needed to be very, very less childishly.
Yes.
Just that didn't make any sense coming out of my mouth, but you know what I mean.
Less childish. Like,
yeah.
You had to... But yeah, you had to give it a little bit more socks, but unfortunately, like, you can only work to the parameters you're given, and then even when it's not good enough, they go, well, that's obviously on you lot. Well, no, it's not. Retribution could have been great.
Could have been.
It really could have been great, but hey, whatever. Ali and Mansoor are Crown Jewel today. They'll have a lovely time. Will the streak end for Mansoor at Crown Jewel?
I think he's just going to beat Ali 9 times in a row just to get those streak numbers up.
Ross and Andrew live streaming their reactions with proceeds going to Amnesty International from 4 p.m. British summertime. Have a wonderful day. More news as we get it. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.